Manchester United back in action again every single 3 days until what, March? Crystal Palace on Saturday. After the 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park, I think Erik ten Hag will want to bury that result, get 3 points, kick on. Look, we're into the League Cup final. It's been another very good week for Manchester United. What will the result be? Will we see Marcel Sabitzer make his debut? Erik ten Hag has commented on Sabitzer. He's been in training. I'll run through all the team news, all of Ten Hag's comments in his press conference ahead of the game. My prediction, it's going to be a busy show as it always is. Make sure you do please drop a like, and I'd love you to become part of the community. But a quick word about how good the feeling is around Manchester United on the pitch at the moment. Our football, it's all heading in the right direction. Marcus Rashford up there, Premier League Player of the Month, Marcus Rashford. Will he come back into the team? I absolutely do think he'll come back into the team. Now, something that a lot of you would have been waiting for was Ten Hag. Ten Hag was asked about Mason Greenwood, and he will not say anything. He said, no, nothing. I cannot add anything. I refer to the statement from the club, and that will pretty much be the end of it until Manchester United release an official statement. That's going to be the next update from the club or from Ten Hag. In terms of the game itself, Ten Hag said this about Crystal Palace. Tomorrow we need a better game, better focus in the game, better conduct in the way we play because we have to beat them, because that's quite clear. And Manchester United away from home against Crystal Palace, we had the goal, we had the game, but in the second half we dropped off. You know we dropped off. Everyone knows we dropped off. We welcomed them forward, and while it was a once-in-a-lifetime hit from Elise, it shouldn't have been in that situation. Manchester United did not kill the game, and maybe it was because we were slightly tired, but certainly in the last half an hour, we let Crystal Palace come on to us way too much. Now, in terms of the team itself, let's run through every single position and all we know about the latest team news. This was the team that started against, Nottingham Forest in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final. One obvious change that is going to happen, I don't need to tell you, but I'll just change it anyway. David De Gea will, of course, come back in. By the way, I thought Heaton played pretty well. Certainly better than Dubravka did when he got the opportunity. And in terms of the defence, some really good news for Manchester United is that Diogo Dalot is now back in full training. I think he joined in on Thursday, there or thereabouts, but Dalot's back in training after missing a few weeks. I tell you what, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has more than deputised, and Manchester United, we haven't really seen a big drop-off in terms of the quality of our fullbacks, the quality of how they're going forward. There hasn't been a massive drop-off. Aaron Wan-Bissaka surprised everybody. And I think that back five, well, maybe not the back five, because of course David De Gea. De Gea comes back in, but I don't think you see any other changes in that back four. I think Dalot's back in training, good. But I don't think Ten Hag will just put him straight back in the team, not after he only rejoined training on Thursday. How cool is this photo, by the way? Just the new defensive to Anthony there, I think, on the left-hand side. Martinez, Casemiro, Varane. Woo! Dalot back in training. And speaking about Varane, I think Varane is a player who I haven't particularly given much focus to. I'll be completely honest. Maybe that's slightly unfair. I've been focusing on Martinez and how good our fullbacks have been and Casemiro. But Varane, who announced his retirement from international duty this week, that's going to serve Manchester United very, very well. I'm looking forward to seeing what Varane does in this post-30 career, focusing just on United. And I tell you what, looking at all the leaders in our team, Varane has been just as influential on our defensive solidity, how good our defence is, as Martinez has been, as Casemiro has been. He's been just as important. So I think that back four stays the same against Crystal Palace, with De Gea coming in for Heaton. Now, moving forward, there's the man himself. There's the general, the midfield general. And of course, Casemiro starts this game. And of course, Manchester United need him to start this game. It's becoming quite ridiculous, really, how good he is. Maybe not ridiculous, but just a consistency. Game after game after game. He's levels above anybody else inside this midfield. He really, really is. But of course, that's not the main talking point around this midfield. We can speak about how good he is, but we want to see how good this man could be. Will Marcel Sabitzer make his Manchester United debut against Crystal Palace on Saturday? Erik ten Hag was asked about him, and I tell you what, we may well be seeing him even in the starting 11. This is what Ten Hag said. He goes, he looks very good. Of course, he only did one session, but you can see he is a very fit player. And I didn't have any different expectations because he's coming from Bayern Munich, Germany. Their fitness is always good. I think he is ready to play. So you can let me know in the comments, do you think we'll be seeing Marcel Sabitzer come straight into this starting 11? I think we will. I think we will. Fred, I think Fred played it okay against Forest, but I want to see that midfield trio. I've spoken about it. In terms of relentlessness, in terms of work rate, they will not be outworked, I don't think, by many midfields. Sabitzer, that's a strong part of his game, the transitions, both in attack and defence. When United lose the ball further up, he will be one of the first players to press. And everyone's got to work as a team on that. Defensively, he's very good at bringing the ball out from the back. Not in the same creative way that Christian Eriksen is, but certainly in keeping ball recycling, ball possession, short passes, keeping it moving. That's something he's definitely going to bring to this team. And I think it will be a very balanced midfield trio. Now, of course, we've got Kobbie Mainoo. There's a nice little photo of Kobbie Mainoo there with Bruno Fernandes. And he's somebody who definitely is going to keep getting progressively more, how can I describe it? He's a young player. He's 17. He's coming in. He's learning from Casemiro. He had now learned from Sabitzer and Bruno. And Bruno's kind of being like, Bruno's kind of slyly and quietly has become the captain of Manchester United, hasn't he? Because Maguire's not been playing. Bruno's vice captain, so he's been wearing it for a long time. And I think he's been wearing it pretty damn well, if I'm being completely honest. But I don't think that we'll be seeing too much from Mainoo. Obviously, Iqbal's kind of disappeared a little bit. Obviously, it seems like Erik ten Hag rates Mainoo a little bit more than he does Iqbal in terms of where he needs a youngster inside this squad. But I think you're going to be seeing Sabitzer start this game, and I think you'll see Fred coming on, or the other way around. Both of them completely viable, but I think we'll be seeing his debut. And as I said, Bruno Fernandes has his influence just, in my opinion, grows and grows and grows in this team. And now I think we're starting to get back towards the influence and levels that we saw of him back when he first joined United. Now, what I quickly want to say here before we move on, I want to speak about the attack. I want to speak about Weghorst himself. And big shout out to BetVictor for supporting United People's TV. But there's been some wild stuff said on BetVictor this week about Weghorst. I want to run through it with you.
Weghorst is a mad. That has a strong whiff of panic. If we're being brutally honest, I think he's fine. I think he's an absolutely fine footballer, isn't he? But I don't think he's of the level to make them an above and beyond team. He feels like a stopgap kind of solution, which is fine. Which is fine. They needed someone. They very much did. You know, Ronaldo left them, sold them down the river a bit, didn't he? So, you know, they had to go and get someone as a body to fill that space a little bit.
I don't get it. I don't get anybody who's trying to say that he was a panic signing. Weghorst was the best case scenario that Man United had in that transfer window. We had no money. I think he's been impactful so far. He is a stopgap. We are looking towards Osimhen or Kane or somebody of that ilk in the summer. I don't really get the hate towards it. I've left a link to the video in the description. Go over there and jump in. I've left a comment about Weghorst, but please go over there and support, because just tell me you don't watch it. Tell me you don't watch United without telling me you don't watch United is right there. Now, in terms of the rest of the selection, in terms of how we're actually going to set up an attack, will Weghorst start this game? He'll definitely start this game. I'll speak about Rashford in a bit, and I'll speak about Sancho first. Sancho, it was so good to see him back. Was it the most incredible performance against Forest? No, it wasn't. It wasn't the way. No one expected. You don't have to judge individual performances from Sancho right now. It's just him being back in the team and him being slowly reintroduced. I don't think Sancho will start this game. I actually think Erik ten Hag will stick with Antony, who, in my opinion, in these last few games, has started to look a little bit more influential, has started to be a better team footballer. That momentum needs to be continued, and I think he starts out on the right-hand side. But yeah, there's absolutely no way that this bloke doesn't come into the starting 11. By the way, can I say congratulations to Manchester United's Player of the Month and Premier League Player of the Month, Marcus Rashford. And it's not the first time he's won that award this season. This is what he said there. This last month couldn't have gone better for me on a personal note. It's the first time I've won these awards together, and hopefully not the last. Thank you to my teammates, the coaches, my family, and the fans. And big up to Marcus Rashford. And he's coming straight back in for Alejandro Garnacho on that left-hand side. Absolutely. And the real question is whether or not Anthony Martial is going to be fit to start this game. I personally think that Erik ten Hag is going to err on the side of caution when it comes to this game. When it comes to Anthony Martial, I think you'll see Weghorst start. Hopefully, you'll then see Martial come on for the last 20 or 30 minutes when the harder work is done, the graft is done, and United have the lead. That's when I think he'll reintroduce Martial. I just think with everything that's happened so far this season, Erik ten Hag will err on the side of caution wherever possible with Martial. And I think that includes this game here. He came back and he looked good. He scored against Forest. Yes. I think he starts on the bench. So that is my predicted starting 11 there, with Sabitzer coming in to make his debut, Rashford coming in on the left wing. But other than that, well, De Gea coming back in. That's 3 changes from the Forest game. And my prediction for this game, I'm going for a 2-0. We have to have that confidence now as United fans. We've got 12 consecutive wins at Old Trafford. Crystal Palace, it was a tough game away. Ten Hag will not be allowing these players to repeat their same sort of mistakes. I think Sabitzer comes in and adds energy into that midfield. And I'll be honest, that game there against Palace was one of the games where Eriksen looked the most tired. He did, even though he scored that. I think it was Eriksen that scored, wasn't it? Bruno cut it back to him. No, it was Eriksen who cut it back to Bruno. I might be getting that. No, it's Bruno who scored. I think Eriksen was involved in it, though. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I think, look, if this lad can have a similar sort of impact in the midfield as to what Weghorst has had in attack, not going to be permanent long-term solutions, but hell, maybe both of them will earn a permanent contract. Ten Hag has said he is fit. He's ready to be in that. If he can start for United, I think he will. My predicted 11 is there. My prediction is 2-0. You can let me know what you think in the comments below, as you always do. But football, every 3 days. That's what happens when you're doing well and performing well. And the wins have to keep coming. And I hope it continues against Crystal Palace on Saturday.